To understand seventh chords, first you have to have a good understanding of triads, like C major, A minor. And to understand triads, you have to understand thirds. For example, from A up to C, that's a minor third, because it's a whole step plus a half step. But from C to E, that's a major third, because it's a whole step plus a whole step. So like a C major triad, for example, has a major third and a minor third put together. So from the root to the third is a major third. From the third to the fifth, that's a minor third. So you put them together, you get a major triad. A minor triad is the opposite. From the root to the third is a minor third. From the third to the fifth is a major third. So I'll do a different one. C minor with E flat in the middle. Now you have a minor third from the root to the third. And then the top third is now major. So yeah, the distance got bigger. Between the third and the fifth is now a major third. Minor third, major third. I'll do the opposite, or the same, the opposite for A minor. To make it major, you sharp the third. So now this third got bigger, and this third got smaller. So now you have a major third from the root to the third, and a minor third from the third to the fifth. So triads are stacked thirds. Major third, minor third equals a major triad. Minor third, major third, minor triad. So once you understand that, then by the way, a diminished triad, like B, D, F, that's two minor thirds. From B to D is a minor third. From D to F is a minor third. And that's what gives you that diminished fifth. So here's C major, C minor, C diminished. See now they're both minor thirds. So just like triads are stacked thirds, seventh chords are stacked triads. For example, C major and E minor together make C major 7. And if it's hard to reach, do it with two hands. C major 7. So now you have major third, minor third, major third. Still stacked thirds, but you can think of it as stacked triads now. C major and E minor together makes C major 7. Now I'll do the opposite for A minor. I'm going to stack C major on top of A minor. So I have A minor, C major. They both have these two notes in common. If I put them together, now I have A minor 7. Minor third, major third, minor third. A minor, C major, A minor 7. The reason it's called 7 is because that top note, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is 7 notes above the root. From A to G, that's the 7th. Root, third, fifth, 7th. Root, third, fifth, 7th. Root, third, fifth, 7th. So this is the one that's on that chord chart. This one's called dominant 7. That's actually the most common kind. And it has a mix of a major third and a minor 7th. So here's B above G. That's a major third. F sharp would be a major 7th above G, a half step below the root. A whole step below the root, that's a minor 7th, like G minor 7. But with a major third and a minor seventh, that's dominant, called dominant 7. And if it just says G7, it means dominant 7. To make it minor 7, I would lower the third also. Now to make it major 7, I would have to raise the 7th. So those are the 3 most common types of 7th chords, and dominant 7 is the most common. And the reason it's called dominant is because it's built off the 5th note of the scale. So for example, C major scale is all white notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. G is the dominant. It's called the dominant. C is called the tonic. If you build a 7th chord off of G using only white notes, you get a major third and a minor 7th. Dominant 7. Now if I make F sharp for the key of G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now D is the dominant, or the 5th for G. And if I stack a triad, major triad, and then a minor 7th, now I have D dominant 7. Because F is sharp, but C is still natural, as opposed to major 7 or minor 7. Major third, minor 7, that's what's called dominant 7. And it naturally occurs built off the 5th note of the scale, in this case G. If I add C sharp for D major, now, and then I find the 5th note of the scale, it's A, and I build a chord off of A using the notes from the D major scale. So C is sharp, but G is natural. That's A dominant 7. Major third, minor 7th above A, which is the 5th note above D. That's dominant 7 built off of 5, the 5th note of the scale. I'll do one more. I'm going to add G sharp for the key of A major. The 5th note of A major, 5th note of the A major scale is E. Now if I build a chord, 7th chord off of E, see G is sharp in the key of A, but D is still natural in the key of A, as opposed to major 7 or minor 7. This is a major third with the minor 7th. That's dominant 7. That's what's on the chord chart. Those are all dominant 7. That's the most common type of 7. Here's minor 7, just to hear the difference. I'll start on A. Probably should have started on G for dominant. I'll start on A for minor 7. Just so you can hear the difference. That's a minor 7 chord, and I'll do C major 7, and I'm just going up and down playing all 12, and now I'm going to do major 7 for all 12 notes. D flat major 7, D major 7, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, B flat, B, and here's C again, and back down. notice of the three we've been talking about, major 7's the only one where there's just a half step between the 7th and the root, the octave root. But again, dominant 7 is the most common. And back to the idea of stacking triads, this is a major triad on the bottom and then a diminished triad on top. So G7, I'm sorry, G major and B diminished together makes G dominant 7. So it's still stacked triads, just the top one's diminished. D7, D major, F sharp diminished, together, D dominant 7. A7, this is A major on the bottom, C sharp diminished on top, together, A dominant 7. E major, G sharp diminished, together, E dominant 7. And it won't always be just for 5s. For example, I'll play a blues type of thing where all the chord 1, 4, and 5 are all dominant 7. Always be only 5 that's dominant. In that case, 1, 4, and 5, I played them all dominant. But if I were to write that out, I would have to add accidentals for 1 and 4 to make C7 and F7. Those notes are outside the key signature for C major. The only one that's naturally, meaning inside the key signature, dominant is Roman numeral 5, in this case G.